Yeah, very. I mean, I would say that's offensive almost.
I don't care.
Wow, is this the new persona?
Yeah, I'm doing a new character too. I'm going to be a character now.
Great. Yeah. So EG versus TSM FTX. TSM took game 1, and this game, I mean, this is a very important game for both respective teams because they're both undefeated, the only 2 undefeated teams of the NADPC. So this will essentially break that tie. Of course, doesn't mean the season is necessarily set in stone afterwards because they still have to face off against Quincy Crew. Sorry, TSM does, that is. EG already 2-0'd them. So it could end up being a 3-way tie, but it's looking less likely this season.
We have casted NADPC since the inception of DPC.
Yeah.
And you forgot Quincy Crew.
Yeah, the old Quincy Crew.
They've been here the entire time. Very relevant.
Well, the reason it's just the name slipped up because TSM used to be known as Undying, so it's kind of a new name that we need to refamiliarize.
It is a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's like 3 letters. It's so hard. It's not a green disgusting hero, but speaking of green disgusting heroes, we have Death Prophet in the game. We have Viper. What do you think of the lineups here? Panel seemed to favor TSM by a little bit.
Yeah, well, we have just the most exciting NA classic matchup between the Terrorblade and the Medusa. There will be creep hitting for about 40 minutes this game, and then Terrorblade will win. That is how this matchup goes. Medusa hits the Terrorblade for a while, they hit each other, and then Terrorblade gets low, presses Sunder, and then Medusa's mana is gone, and then he kills her. That's how this one tends to go.
Okay. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Jerax was bot lane. Tomato actually has not even attempted to right-click a creep yet because he knew that Jerax was waiting in the trees. So really good recognition from TSM. Now Tomato will pop that Metamorphosis in the bot lane to secure some of his own CS. It looks like Dubu and Crit are going head-to-head. Yeah, talk to me about the Death Prophet position 5 this game.
He actually didn't start with the Crypt Swarm, or with the Spirit Siphon. He went for the Crypt Swarm instead, which is, let's see, one last hit. Yeah, so presumably this is something they talked about. They don't feel like it's easy for Tomato to get like range creep CS, so instead Dubu's going to be going for those.
And they're getting bullied right now by Nightfall.
It's tough. I mean, it's one of those things that like on paper it makes sense. You can understand that they don't want to lose range creep CS, but they're getting bullied for this. Like, Dubu can't sit there and trade with Crit because of that, and Tomato's taking a lot of damage from Nightfall.
I think he ended up getting that creep kill, the range with his illusion. That's at least some good news for Tomato in this lane. But Nightfall is starting to run out of mana, so does have 2 mangoes to work with, along with a mango on to Crit as well. So this lane is going to have a lot of action, I would assume. Mid lane is Brile on the puck versus Abed's DK. This feels like a lane where both heroes will farm, neither will kill, likely until level 6 potentially, if even that.
Yeah, I know most people would consider DK to be a counter to a puck mid, just because you can't really ever like threaten him with coil, and you just sit there and take all of Puck's right clicks. You can instant stun setup on the puck as well for any sort of gank that is going to potentially come in from like Crit, for example. So yeah, I think and you can see he's like out CSing, but I mean Abed tends to do that in general, but especially with the DK.
Seems to be a condition of his to outplay his opponent.
Yeah. I mean, Brile's one of the tougher opponents for him to do that. I mean, Brile's a very strong laner.
Yeah. Top lane, we're seeing a lot of action. Moon Meander might be taken out, and first blood goes the way of Arteezy. They ended up seeing him thanks to that sentry, as he'd already used Shakuchi earlier, so kind of caught in a bad spot as the disruption came out to kind of force him to fight. But yeah, Arteezy playing the Medusa, as we talked about. It's either Medusa or Terrorblade, it feels like every single game, although he did play CK last time around. But the panel kind of mentioned this, but now that we know this is a position 3 Pango, you expecting the Diffusal?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's such a cheap item now. I feel like it makes sense to get that on a lot of offlaners.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Like, we've even seen offlane Anti-Mage going Diffusal Blade. It's just so cheap. It's really good as well against both DK and Viper. Like, both of these heroes are really annoying, difficult to kill, but you can just drain their mana and they don't do anything. It just feels like a perfect Diffusal game.
Yeah, looking forward to all that mana burn towards the Medusa as Dubu pops his Fairy Fire, but dies very easily in the hands of EG, so it feels like a bit of a waste as again, EG off to a pretty good start in the laning stage. We saw this last time around. Didn't end up working out for them long term in that game, but I mean, this seems like just the strength of EG. Their laning is just on another level versus everybody else in NA at least.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing here is TSM picked Terrorblade into Viper.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, they know this is probably going to be a Nightfall Viper. I mean, this is, in previous games, he's played it, so it's like, if we know it, they know it. And they're still comfortable, like, potentially, you know, picking this losing lane just because they think TB is really good for the game or really good, you know, in general. Like, they just want to play it against EG. Because, yeah, I mean, they must be confident in the other points of the game for TB because, you know, obviously this is not working out.
Yeah, and you can see just by the CS for the Terrorblade,
8-2
for Tomato versus 27-6 for Arteezy, so not remotely close.
Yeah.
Obviously, TB can get back into the game. We've seen it so many times before, but this is one of the rougher starts that I've seen.
I mean, it happened
in
last
recent memory.
So it's
not this bad though.
No, this is
way worse.
This is pretty bad.
Snowball, Nightfall. All right, getting off those right clicks with the poison attack, and Tomato just forced to stand his ground because he knows he's just going to die, and he does so in the hands of Nightfall. As mid lane, Abed already pops a dragon for him. Just trying to get the kill onto Bryle, but looks like he'll have to just be okay with a little dot damage too. Do you say dot damage, by the way? I know it's repetitive. Damage over time damage.
Oh, that is repetitive.
But I still say it.
Don't do that again.
So the dot damage onto that tier 1 tower, ticking it away slowly.
Yeah, I think this game, a big difference with EG in their previous draft is they have tower damage, they have great tower damage, and they have a timing too. Like, I do feel like the CK last game was very countered. Medusa this game, Terrorblade does beat Medusa in the late game, but you do have a solid timing with Medusa against any hero, even like the anti-mage counter that you see a lot, where you just run at towers and she's this unkillable force, especially if you get an Aghanim Scepter. I know a lot of people like the Ags on Dusa versus TB. He just can't run it. You know, you stun him. It's like it's a different sort of timing than that. I'm going to stand there and oh, maybe if you... No,
Arteezy got a bit low. Looks like the rest of TSM are going to back up. Mid lane, there was a little action as well, but no kills for TSM as of yet. They're down 0-3. Saberlight kind of frontlining right now. Has the 3 levels of shield crash, which he'll use onto Jerax. Get that damage mitigation. They're just trying to create as much space as possible to get that tier 1 in the top lane. Moon Meander, no Shakuchi for 4 seconds.
Yeah,
he's
that
just
cooldown,
dead.
man.
He's just dead.
That nerf, it's so obvious. Like, the moment you play Weaver, you really feel it. Previous Weaver would have, you know, very easily been able to escape there, but cooldown is just so long now, level 1. I really like this rotation, by the way, from Tomato. Just leaving this lane entirely and pressuring top. Ideally, you get the tower with the catapult. EG's done a good job defending it. Not having this be a 1-for-1 trade. Like, if you're EG right now, you picked Viper to dominate the lane. You know you're against a Terrorblade. It's a very easy lane. Like, you want to take the tower and not lose yours. So they're going to try to hold this top tower, I would imagine.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned it. The pushing power between these teams, EG is far favored.
Yeah.
I mean, TSM, if you get into the late game, this is a position 5 DP, so, you know, Exorcism will do a little bit. And then Terrorblade is basically your high ground guy.
Huh, they're actually okay with sacking this. I guess it's because they're pressuring mid with Abed as well, so they know that they're, like, taking a trade here, a tier 1 mid for a tier 1 safe lane. That's always a good trade. Especially, I mean, I guess the thing is also here, you do have a DP, like, as we mentioned, it is a position 5 DP, but eventually you are going to hit 6. And, you know, Exorcism is literally bugged and does double damage to towers. So...
Does that confirm that it's considered a bug?
that would be Valve that you have to ask, I guess.
Bryle, oh, the snowball actually will connect. He's going to get stuck inside the ice shards. Nicely done from Crypt, but they can't follow it up. Nice save from Jerax in the meantime, dodging one stun from Saberlight. It looks like Nightfall's going to get out, but Rolling Thunder not able to really secure much there, and EG still have a lot of creeps to work with, and they can just go for this tier 1 tower themselves. As I say that, they walk away.
You can tell they did really want it, though. It's just not looking reasonable without the DK form and the wave clear that
yeah, they need some time. Obviously, Medusa is a tower killer eventually. You have Dragon form, like you said, in addition to the disruption to create illusions for him.
Viper Ag Shard.
Viper Shard is god tier.
Yeah, it's.
But you have to wait for that. I mean, how fast do you get it though? Is that something you prioritize like right away?
Yeah, usually it's Dragonlance, BKB, and then Ag Shard, because that's about the time that with a Viper you can be pushing like tier 2s and high ground. It's one of those things where it's just unnecessary tower damage for tier 1s. Like, especially if you're Viper, you're probably going to win a lane and be strong on this hero. It's pretty hard to not be strong on Viper early. So it's like you don't need it to take tier 1s anyway, even if you could get it.
Yeah, so either way, their pushing potential is just going to get stronger and stronger as the game goes on. And this is starting to become a pretty large lead for EG, as it'll basically be 4K after this tower goes down.
Yeah, I feel like TSM actually needs Dubu to get level 6. He's super under-leveled. Level 4 only at 10 minutes. If he takes the tome, like, he's still not even going to be level 6. Other than him, like, they don't really have that much damage. Terrorblade's not going to do anything at this point. These stacks definitely help, though. This is this is juicy.
That is, I had the same word in my mind.
Wow.
Boy, like 2 peas in a pod.
It's 2 juicy peas in it.
Quite juicy peas to, I mean, ripe for the picking, some would say.
Yeah, delectable. Yeah.
If you're just joining us, this is a weird cast, I agree.
Sneaking around.
Jarex is going to get the disruption off. Abed's in the area with the Dragon Tail, but will be silenced. Ryle gets off the coil, but he is stunned and brought down by the Breathe Fire. Nicely done from EG. 5-0. I mean, not that many kills, but I mean, this does seem similar to last game, but it feels more in control of EG than it even did last time around. At least that's how I feel. Do you feel?
You know, I felt pretty confident last game in EG, just given the where they were on the map. I mean, I guess they have damage this time. Like, I don't feel like they have a damage problem to kill the Terrorblade. In particular, because of Nightfall on Viper. Like, this hero is, if you want to man up versus a farm Viper, I mean, Terrorblade is one of the heroes that almost always wins a man fight, but Viper, as well as Medusa and the DK stun, like, I feel like there's damage and there's disable for Tomato this game. Eventually, he's going to look strong because I just think the Terrorblade versus Medusa matchup is very favorable for Terrorblade. But not like last game.
Oh boy, this would be another huge kill for EG, and they do get Bryle a second time. That is rough stuff for TSM.
Some harassing action on bot lane. I don't think Nightfall is expecting to kill him there. It's just like, if you're gonna enter into my lane, I'm gonna push you out of here. Like, the way EG's playing this is they're just trying to farm more jungle camps. They're trying to farm more lane creeps.
Yeah, I mean, they're starving them out. The lead is just growing by the minute.
Yep.
And I believe the diffusal is almost done for Saberlight. Yeah, it's just a recipe away, so 300 gold to be exact. And I'm not sure if that's the big... I mean, it feels like a pretty big item against Medusa, honestly, just with these swashbuckles. But it is a position 3, so he's not going to get, like, crazy farm on top of it.
Yeah, the diffusal on Pango starts feeling really good when you have the shield crash talent as well as, like, an Axe, which obviously that's not coming for quite some time.
That's the stuff right there.
He's also going to need a blink because he is the offlaner. Well, then again, you have a puck for initiation, so I guess you don't necessarily need your Pango to be the blinking initiating guy.
Well, he has the recipe, but he's about to get ganked.
Yeah.
Into the trees he goes, but Abed showing off that blink dagger. Perma-stun action. Down goes Saberlight. Not the most costly death for him, as we just said. He just bought that recipe.
Yeah. Abed also skipped talents, and he's only got 2 points in Dragon's Blood. Dragon Blood, sorry, there's no S on that.
That's
he's
the anime.
Yeah. So he's got 4 points in Dragon Tail.
Okay.
It's a very long duration stun.
Yeah, so playing it, I don't know if you want to call that greedy, but the fact that he just really didn't have issues in lane. He can just go for whatever he wants.
You know, it's also one of those things that, like, people don't go on DK because he's tanky and usually maxes Aura. So I feel like it's one of those trendy things you can get away with maxing Dragon Tail at some point. Because it's like, we're not going to go on this guy. He's so...
I mean, how often do you click them at this stage of the game and, like, looking at the HP regen to see what level it is? I feel like at this stage, you just assume they have it, maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to even calculate, but, you know, with bracers and strength and stuff like that.
True. Saberlight able... Nope, not able to get his ult time. He's going to get punched into the air. Breathe Fire on a couple of heroes as Dubu Trying to Spirit Sight, but they're just getting brought down so easily by EG. Like, very little damage to work with for TSM. Double kill for Crit. This is turning into a good old-fashioned shellacking. And they're going to get the stack. This hurts a lot.
Oh, boy.
Those are some juicy stacks for Abed.
Yeah.
With the tag team as well.
Yeah, they have so much space on the map that Arteezy is not even the one stealing the stacks.
Yeah, very true.
Oh, what do we get? Oh, delectable replay. All right.
Yeah.
Doesn't get the ult off, just barely. Dude, man, Duba being level 5 is such a problem.
That's 14 minutes in the game. I assume he did take the tome, right? I would hope to.
I hope so.
Actually, I kind of hope he didn't, because that's even worse, isn't it?
That's pretty funny if he didn't have Moon Meander.
Oh boy,
he's a greedy bug.
Yeah, so this is starting to get out of hand for TSM. As they're going to smoke up now to try to bounce back in this game.
They just need anyone at this point. I mean, just like...
Yeah, Medusa is going to TP out. So
no.
TSM kind of coming out without anything to work with. As Dubu does hit level 6, so Exorcism now online. But not sure how much that even matters.
No. I mean, Arteezy did just TP top, so if he exos this tower, I think he'll get it. It's just, I don't know if you want to exo for this tower. It's not very important. It doesn't open up any parts of the map that you really need access to, so... and I also feel like, as sad as it is for a position 5 Death Prophet to be in this situation, I actually think Dubu's damage is necessary for the fight. As you can see, Tomato's done 710. He's done more building damage than he's done hero damage this game.
Okay.
Which, you know, he's Terrorblade in the early game, and this is not super abnormal. But this is just, you know, emphasizing how much Dubu needs to be in these fights with his ult. Yeah. It does do a lot of damage.
Smoke up from EG, but you can see TSM having to play super passive, other than the lanes that are obviously not being contested at all by EG right now. And even these little creeps, Lumiander can't even secure for himself without Crit coming to disrupt. And we have yet to really see any kind of team fight yet. It felt like pickoff after pickoff for EG, and just kind of map starving. As Moonman, basically his sole mission has been to try to kill these couriers.
Yeah, he's killing animals. That's all he can really do.
Right, Saberlight with his ult, and yeah, into nothing.
Yeah, feeling kind of rough. I mean, I feel like if you're Nightfall at this point, you consider getting the Aghanim Shard just because it's like when people give up in a pub. You just try to end the game quicker. You get Meteor Hammers.
For who?
For Nightfall.
Oh, okay.
On Viper. He's playing the Viper there.
Yeah, but he's already have a half BKB, or 3/4 now.
Yeah.
So I assume he goes for that after.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That.
But it's a thought that crosses your mind if you're Viper.
Right. These guys was a pub, he would do it.
Yeah, like these guys are just avoiding us. They're not. They're never gonna be able to fight us. Do we just get the Aghanim Shard and threaten high ground? I think. I mean, definitely after the BKB. I mean, BKB is a safe option. You're never gonna die without with the BKB.
Mm-hmm. I mean, something we haven't really talked about is even a Pango. This feels weird. It's a weird Pango game. Diffusal obviously really good. We've talked about that to death, but it's really the reason you pick this hero in general is the ult. Medusa ult pretty good against it. Viper Strike goes through it.
Yeah.
I don't know how Shadow Demon ult works. They even have Punch technically.
Walrus Punch, yeah. I mean, Shadow Demon purges the shield crash.
Yeah, Dubu. Looks like they'll find their first kill of the game, does TSM, but it'll cost them a life. But will they get out? There's the Viper Strike, as we talked about, onto Saberlight.
He's got no TP, and they see that, but...
It's a swash. Should be fine.
That ult lasts forever. He's fine.
But for EG, still not a whole lot lost, as they're going to secure themselves a Tier 1 tower, and that should open up Roche. And into Roche Pit they go. With the double damage on Abed. Should be a freebie, especially with Rolling Thunder down. You can see Moon Meander pressuring a bit in the bot lane. That is the Tier 2 tower, so will require the services of one member of EG.
Yeah. It'll be Jarex, the position 5, who's just not needed anywhere, really. It's to the point Jarex is farming a gem. for his team. Like they just want to, they just want to completely suffocate TSM here. Like the only reason Moonmeander can be out and doing these plays like this, well, I think he'd probably do it anyway because he's Weaver, and if he dies, who cares? But it's this vision. The vision means that he can like safely farm these camps, and it also means that his team can be out here and farming as well. When, you know, they should feel unsafe about this. And so you get the gem and... Oh, that's as just...
Jerax, farm is there. Rolling Thunder, Saberlight wants to commit. And they actually kill off Jerax. It's going to be pretty difficult. He needs at least one more roll, and the Swash will miss. Attempts to TP out, but has to cancel it knowing that he's going to die no matter what. So another fight where TSM really doesn't get a whole lot. In fact, nothing. They didn't even get the tower.
That would have been a great opportunity for them, though, if they can pick up the gem just as it's purchased.
True.
I mean, psychologically, that's pretty damaging. I
mean, this is pretty psychologically bad that Arteezy's farming your triangle.
Yeah, he is doing that there.
And our Tomato shows up like, nope, never mind. Never mind. Wow. This is looking really rough. But Arteezy getting close to finishing the Scotty now as well. As Duba gets off the silence, Jerax, this could be the second kill of the game for TSM, and it is.
He handed off the gem already to to Bryle, I think. Or to Abed on the DK.
Not a whole lot lost.
We just neither of us can get Abed's name right. You called him
Sumail. Wait, what'd you just call him?
I just called him Bryle.
Well, Sumail is like, you know.
Okay, don't make it
a hard habit to break.
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially when I just cast them last week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, forget about that.
So another kill onto the DP. Nightfall gets credit for that. They still have Aegis for quite a while, and I mean, this is quite the methodical game from EG. It feels like they just haven't had to do that much.
No, they won all 3 lanes and have done a good job at snowballing from the laning stage. Like
both not literally and figuratively.
Yeah. In this game, that is happening. They're just not giving up any fights. They're not giving up any kills. They have the annoying tanky heroes placed on the front line where, you know, if TSM does go on them and kill them, it's going to take all 5 of their heroes to do it, and they're all going to die, so...
He's not actually going Shard yet for Nightfall. So perhaps not opting, or not thinking that they're going to end up going high ground yet. They just want to suffocate them more into creating a gigantic lead.
Bit of asphyxiation action, all right.
Yeah, I guess so. That's one way to look at it, you filthy pig.
Okay.
Nightfall will be going for the, looks like a Hurricane Pike now. And the other side for TSM, what items do they have to look forward to? So Saberlight about 1,000 away from Blink. Obviously the man that we're really looking forward to seeing get some farm is Tomato as Nightfall. Has to pop the BKB. Attempted gank from TSM will not be successful. So back to item progression.
Back
Tomato,
back to it.
I mean, he still is not, it's a casual Yasha into Scotty right now. So not opting for Manta at all.
And he'll get a Scotty by the time that Arteezy's Aegis is out. So I feel like that's a pretty solid timing to go smoke. Maybe, I mean, it's tough. Who do you jump? Like, if you jump either of the 2 supports of EG, both of them are saving supports. So, like, you know, Crit can jump in and blink Snowball. If Jerax gets gone on, Jerax can save with Disruption. The 3 EG cores are tanky frontliners. It does feel really hard. Like, you need to jump multiple heroes if you're TSM. Like, ideally, you get the 2 supports together. And if you can do that and get them in a coil and then a DP silence, I think TSM can win the fight, but like they have to do some crazy shit basically because it's 11K gold deficit. It's just that's just what it is. You have to do crazy shit when a game is like this.
Yep, got to take some risks.
Yeah.
Probably won't work out, but you never know. We've seen some crazier comebacks. It's just, I guess the part that feels maybe a little bit more hopeless is hopeless is maybe the wrong word, but it's
strong word.
The lineup from TSM with this kind of deficit, I'm struggling to figure out a way that they can come back, unless EG just makes some grave errors, which again we have seen them do, but not this season. It can happen.
It can happen. Yeah, I mean, I think Saberlight is on a pretty good hero to scale into the late game. I think it's easy to underestimate the damage that a Pango actually does. Like I've heard people even say like Pango's not a bad carry, as like crazy as that sounds. Literally
do that every time I play Pango.
I see.
I believe it, Jenkins.
That does make sense.
Desto. Not Desto.
I understand why the amount of stars below your rank keeps going down. That makes sense.
It's not me, it's my team.
I know. Well, I would believe that, actually, because you do play with Pop-Tart.
Shout out to Pop-Tart. Tomato. Yeah, getting pretty close to finishing Scotty. So, Aegis is already gone, though, so EG, as is evidenced by the fact that Nightfall hasn't gotten the shard yet, was just... Feels like they're waiting for that second Roche timing still.
Yeah, he's on the greedier side. He was a carry player previously, so, you know.
Double damage on Arteezy, though. Maybe this will... Will this be used for farming or high ground?
Oh, let me go ahead and wait 10 seconds. I'll answer that question for you there.
You're going to look real smart?
Yeah.
Is this something about the EG logo looking thicker than usual, by the way?
It does look thick. I don't know
weird.
what's up with that, yeah.
Did they actually change it?
Wait, isn't that the old one?
I thought that was, yeah, looks like, no, not the old one. You mean the original?
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Well, they've gone through like 50. I mean, isn't that one of the old ones?
No, it's not. For sure? It's like a thicker version of their newer logo.
That's fair. As
Arteezy using this double damage rune, hit these buildings as the swashbuckle will not connect, so no lucky shot, preventing this damage from coming through. Nightfall is now opting for shard. Would have gone a little faster.
A little bit, yeah. Well, the Roche will be respawning pretty soon, so.
Yeah, and I could just go for this tier 2 tower top as well to create even more space, less space for TSM to TP, try to contest potentially. And it looks like they're going to do just that.
Oh, that's really useful information there. No, that's really good.
Very nice.
Where was that located on the map? The face was so big.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. All right. Yeah. That's cool.
Beautiful.
That definitely looks like it should be in a game.
Yeah, why not? My face was in the game too.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
It was quite thick.
I dislike that
grotesque.
Quite a lot.
Especially when it's placed on trees, it really makes me look just awful. And another uncontested tower going the way of EG. So it looks like TSM either want to try to contest Roche potentially, which would be probably a good idea to attempt it, or they're just opting for high ground defense. And actually, that's interesting. No Sunder picked up.
And
probably
stats.
For the best.
And he has stats as well, instead of his reflection. That's interesting. That is interesting. So you get split shot when you steal the Medusa illusion. Huh.
Yeah, that is...
he really thinks that he needs those extra like HP points to survive the burst.
But 2 stats each time.
Yeah?
I mean, that would be an interesting question to ask post-series. Why it takes stats in that scenario.
That would be, if they win.
I mean, obviously, he's not using reflection because they're not fighting ever.
That does make sense.
But, what if he doesn't have reflection for when they do actually
That is
fight?
true. Yeah.
That's interesting.
If you're talking farming, though, like, this is much better for farming. That's... I mean, not leveling Sunder makes sense.
I mean, is it much? It's 6 stats instead of 3 points in the... Is that really that big of a deal? That's like getting a tier 1 neutralizer.
Technically speaking, also, it is one of the less value heroes to go attributes on because he has such high stat gains from leveling up that, like, relative to that.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to say that's weird. As Arteezy going for the tier 3 now, forcing some TPs. You can see that EG's not actually that close to him as they make their way over. He just is not afraid at all.
No.
And Roshan is up, so they can go for that anytime they want as well. Have we seen one Stone Gaze this game?
Have we seen one team fight this game?
No.
Better question. Wow, who would have predicted that a Terrorblade versus Medusa game would be...
NA Classic.
Yeah, this is our bread and butter here. I can't count the amount of series that I've casted that's Dusa versus Terrorblade because of NA.
It's weird.
On my fingers, I mean. Every other matchup, it's like... There's not that many games that you see like X hero versus Y hero, just because there's so many combinations of heroes that you can get into.
I mean, these are definitely the 2 most popular carries in the last 4 years.
We do love these heroes. Yeah, Luna's the other one if these guys are bad.
Yeah, that's true. Luna's up there.
Yeah.
But she's kind of fallen off a bit.
She has. Some people refuse to admit that.
Is that an Arkosh thing?
That would be an Arkosh thing, yeah.
Okay, shout out to Pale Horse. It looks like second Roshan is being taken by EG. This will be the Shard, which maybe Nightfall just takes it, because he could have bought the shard a while ago.
He is going to be taking it. Yeah, he's got a clarity.
So the patience really paid off.
Yes, yes. Guys, I swear to God, I just wanted to be tankier with the BKB and the full Hurricane Pike. Has nothing to do with the fact that I'm a carry player and I demand shards.
And so EG putting on an absolute display of dominance this game.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen crazier comebacks. It's just the games are not usually this passive. This is very slow paced.
Yeah, there needs to be some like refresher orb action on I don't know, like Pango or something.
That doesn't sound very good.
I just don't know. I can't come up with a scenario where EG doesn't just run down these buildings.
Yeah, and they're gonna focus on the barracks now, as Dragon Tail applied to an illusion. That's the most action we've seen in the last 29 minutes.
That was nice. That was awesome.
Haven't had to remember any spell names.
That's good.
They haven't been casting anything really.
Yeah, yeah.
And it looks like this is going to be a freebie for EG. So the question is, what is TSM waiting for? There's got to be, I mean, obviously the cooldowns of like the Dragon Form, for example, you could try to play around that. But is, excuse me, is there an item that they're waiting for?
Have you seen the movie Don't Look Up? It's like
yes, it's a great movie.
It's about like the asteroid.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what they're waiting for. Is just something to
Gaben to
end it
crash
all.
the server.
Yeah. They're looking for some cataclysm right now, and
okay.
Yeah.
Well, they do smoke and leave their base, trying to play around these Elder Dragon Form timing, although Abed now has an AC.
Yeah.
He is super tanky. Let's see if they try to backstab now. They're still kind of refined to their jungle. As onto the second set of barracks they go. And TSM, they are coming from behind. I think they're going to be spotted out now. Yep, there's the swash. Into the Rolling Thunder. Okay, we have a team fight, ladies and gentlemen. We've done it. Stone Gaze finally popped. First time of the game. Dubu, left to his own devices, looks like he's going to drop relatively easily to the punch. It's one dead, and that's a buyback now as they're going to focus on the Arteezy. Tomato will get that kill. That's just the Aegis, though. As Bryle looks like he's going to try to create a little space as back away as Abed pops the BKB. Nightfall as well, focusing on Tomato himself. Gets off the Sunder on a teammate, it looks like. Attempting to get out of dodge, but he's just going to get right-clicked down by Arteezy, who's just the siege tank. Triple kill for Arteezy. And the first team fight for TSM not working out so well. And that's GG. This was a Gaben top hat shellacking. My lord, Gaben himself would be very impressed by EG.
Not something I would expect between these two teams in either direction, to be honest. I was not expecting anything to be Gaben level today.
Yeah, I agree.